Hello everyone, welcome to my podcast Book and Story World with author Priya Gorawal, Season 4, Episode 5. For today's episode, I thought I would review all the films I have watched this February 2026 and enjoyed. The first film I enjoyed watching this February is called Vamp, an American college-age horror comedy made in 1986. The film begins with three male college students going to a strip club to find a strippogram to impress a fraternity. Things take a monstrous turn when one of the boys visits the stripogram's dressing room where she transforms into an evil vampire in front of him. The three boys must then battle a nest of vampires inside and outside of the club. Vamp is a memorable horror comedy that is definitely worth a watch. Another unforgettable 80s horror film is Luther the Geek. The film is memorable because of how gory it is. The film is about a carnival obsessive who bites the heads off his victims. When he is released from prison, he goes on a terrifying killing spree. Luther is definitely memorable for its shocking gore, so viewers may need a warning before watching it. I recently had a great time rewatching a film trilogy I loved in previous years called The Fallen Trilogy, starring Vampire Diaries' Paul Wesley. The first film in the trilogy, called Fallen, is about an 18-year-old boy called Aaron, played by Paul Wesley, who wakes up on his 18th birthday with the ability to talk to his dog, as the dog's barking has now turned into English. Aaron discovers that he is a Nephilim, the result of a fallen angel mating with a human on Earth. Aaron grew up in foster homes. Aaron finds out he is something called the Redeemer. He has the power to send fallen angels back to heaven. As a result, he is hunted by an angelic force called the Powers, who are intent on destroying him. Fallen angels also seek him to be returned to heaven. This then leads to the sequel film Fallen 2, The Journey. In the sequel, Aaron has left his foster family, so they are no longer in danger from the Powers, who are sent by the Creator God. In Fallen, The Journey, Aaron has allied with former Powers angel called Kamel, who he travels the country with to redeem fallen angels. He then comes across a college professor who has abducted his female friend from high school called Velma and finds out she is a Nephilim. Aaron then teams up with Velma, and when they believe Kamel to be dead after an attack by the Powers, a new companion arrives for Aaron in the form of fallen angel Azazel, who was released from his stone prison by a mysterious figure. In Fallen 3, The Destiny, Aaron and Velma are led by Azazel to a meeting with a man known as the Lightbringer, who turns out to be Lucifer, the leader of the rebellion against God and obviously evil incarnate. I love the Fallen trilogy as it takes the teen supernatural genre to another level by relating the 18-year-old, usually vampire supernatural genre to the story in Christianity about the evil angel Lucifer, also known as the devil or Satan, creating evil by inventing killing via magic and leading the jealous angels of God into killing God, their creator, over envy. The Fallen trilogy is a 10 out of 10 must-watch for fans of the supernatural genre. Another supernatural film I enjoyed recently is called Immortal World, released in 2018. The film is about a 19-year-old girl called Harmony who has the ability to absorb fear from people through touching them. The fear then shows itself as a black liquid that enters Harmony's body. However, Harmony may die if she absorbs too much fear. Harmony teams up with a young male when an evil entity threatens her existence. Immortal World is a great watch for fans of the supernatural. An excellent film I finally watched is The Time Traveler's Wife, released in 2009, which stars Eric Bana and Rachel McAdams. The film is about a man called Henry, played by Bana, who, as a child, time-travelled back 2 weeks when he and his mum were in a car crash, which killed her. Time travel saved Henry. The rest of the film is about Henry meeting Claire, played by McAdams, and getting married to her. Problems arise as Henry can't control his power, so can pop out of the present for any length of time, and Claire has to wait for him to return. The absences begin taking a toll on the couple's marriage. The Time Traveler's Wife is an excellent, unique film which I highly recommend to watch. Another excellent film for fans of horror is Shelter, released in 2014, which stars Julianne Moore and Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. Julianne Moore plays a psychologist named Dr. Cara Harding. Harding's father introduces her to a psychiatric patient called Adam, who is believed to have multiple personality disorder. The truth about Adam, however, takes Harding on a deadly path filled with black magic, evil, and devil worship. Shelter is a 10 out of 10 must-watch for horror or thriller fans. Another interesting film to watch is called Companion, released in 2025. Companion is a science fiction horror film about a man called Josh taking his new girlfriend called Iris to meet his friends at a lake house for a vacation. The shock comes when Iris kills one of Josh's friends. It then turns out Iris is a robot and Josh programmed her to kill his friend. Iris the robot then somehow flees into the forest. Companion is an interesting film which is definitely worth the watch. After enjoying Wicked immensely, I decided to watch the sequel and final part of the film called Wicked for Good. In the sequel film, Elphaba has taken the role of the Wicked Witch of the West like in The Wizard of Oz, and she is hiding from the minions of Oz and the people of Oz who believe her to be evil. Elphaba is still committed to saving the animals from Oz, and Glinda has become the face for good to the people of Oz. Just like the first film, Wicked for Good is a fantastic, astounding film and a great musical. Another horror slasher film I enjoyed is Cutting Class, released in 1989, which stars Brad Pitt. The film is about a high school student who is released from a mental asylum called Brian after being committed to being linked to his father's death. When Brian returns to school, a series of killings takes place and the suspicious eyes of the other students fall on Brian. Cutting Class is an excellent slasher. I enjoyed the mystery of finding out who the killer was. Slasher movie fans should definitely give Cutting Class a go. I decided to give another Indian film a go and watched a romantic action film called Dilwale, starring the actress Kajol and Shah Rukh Khan. The film is about the son and daughter of two different crime bosses falling in love. There are some shocks and twists in the film, and Dilwale becomes enthralling as we find out if the relationship will last, or will the couple become enemies to one another. Dilwale is a great film to watch. Another excellent film I watched in February is called The Dark Half, released in 1989 and based on a book by Stephen King. The storyline is unique as an author must battle an evil, violent character which has come to life from his story. The killer character come to life is viewed as the author's alter ego. The Dark Half is an extremely interesting horror that should definitely be watched. I watched an Indian horror film called Ma, which was released in 2025. The film stars the actress Kajol. The film is an astounding 10 out of 10. I was in awe of the graphics used in the film when it came to showing the demon in the film. The film is about a woman who visits her deceased husband's village of birth to sell one of his properties. While she is there, she finds out that there may be more to her husband's death than it seems, as the village has a curse inflicted on it by a demon. When the widow's daughter becomes a target of the demon, the woman's character called Ambika, played by Kajol, must find a way to defeat the demon and end the curse. Ma is an incredible 10 out of 10 must-watch for all horror fans. Another pleasant film I enjoyed is Earth Angel, released in 1991. The film is about a teenage girl who is killed in a car crash on the way to the prom. She is killed in her boyfriend's car. The girl's name is Angela, and when she realizes she is dead, she is told by a male character that she can't enter heaven until she has completed a mission on Earth. Angela is sent to 1991 and must discover how to help her friend's daughter in the future to enter heaven. Earth Angel is a humorous, interesting watch that I highly recommend. I also must mention that I had a hilarious time watching A Haunted House 2, a sequel parody movie which pokes fun at paranormal films. Marlon Wayans is hilarious again as he moves into a new house with his girlfriend and two children, and the paranormal hilarity begins. So for anyone looking for a laugh, A Haunted House 2 is definitely hilarious. Another pleasant film to watch is A Rip in Time, released in 2022. A Rip in Time is another time travel film about a man from the past who claims to be from 1787. The man is taken in by a farmer called Sarah, who begins developing romantic feelings for the man and vice versa. A Rip in Time is a pleasant film to enjoy. An enjoyable science fiction romance film I enjoyed is a film called Timer, released in 2009. The film is about a world where people can get a timer installed which begins to count down to how many days there are until a person meets their soulmate, which means a person's perfect romantic partner once the other person has had a timer installed. The film begins with the character Una, who played Anya in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, whose actress name is Emma Caulfield. The film begins with Una taking her current boyfriend to get a timer installed to see if he is her soulmate. Her boyfriend's timer begins whilst Una's timer remains blank. Una decides to ignore her timer and begins dating a store clerk who is younger than her. Timer is an enjoyable film with an interesting, unique concept and a fun romance to enjoy. An excellent horror film I watched recently is Black Phone 2. The film is the sequel movie to Black Phone, which was also an excellent horror. In Black Phone 2, the boy Finn, who was abducted by the evil killer known as the Grabber, played by Ethan Hawke's sister called Gwen, begins to have visions through dreams about the Grabber's victims being stalked by him in a camp. Gwen and Finn go to the camp to investigate. The film then turns into Nightmare on Elm Street turned scarier when Ethan Hawke returns as the Grabber who tries to kill the children through their dreams. The Grabber who died has gained power beyond the realm of the living. Black Phone 2 is jaw-droppingly excellent and a definite 10 out of 10 horror film. Another unique film I watched in February is called Before I Fall, released in 2017. The film is about a teenage girl called Samantha whose day ends in a fatal car accident with her friends. The repeating day theme is then taken from the usual comedy to the serious theme of Samantha saving herself and friends from the car accident. Samantha tries to live the perfect day of being good to stop the accident. Before I Fall is an interesting film worth the watch. After being unsure if I had seen the first Die Hard movie before, I decided to watch The Famous Film. The film is an excellent action movie which was released in 1988 and stars Bruce Willis and the deceased Alan Rickman as the villain. Bruce Willis plays Detective McClane, who ends up in LA in his wife's work office building. When the building is taken hostage, McClane becomes the action hero tasked with saving his wife and the rest of her colleagues from being killed by their abductors. The first Die Hard film is a must-watch. After enjoying the horror film Megan in previous years, I decided to watch the sequel Megan 2. Megan is about an AI doll which goes on a murderous rampage. In Megan 2, the designer of Megan now works with the government in relation to AI. The designer Gemma is tasked with helping the government track down an AI robot used as a spy which has somehow gone rogue, named Amelia. Gemma is forced to recreate Megan to stop the Amelia threat. I enjoyed the first half of Megan 2 where the horror theme was blended with a superhero-type film. However, the second half of the film grew tedious due to too many action scenes. Overall, however, I'd say Megan 2 is still watchable due to the first half. Finally, I enjoyed a teen drama thriller called Triple Dog in February, which was released in 2010. The film is about a girl called Eve who is having a girls' sleepover for her 16th birthday. One of the attendees suggests playing a game called Triple Dog where the person who doesn't complete their dare has to shave all the hair on her head off. The girls then spend the night completing their dares while the truth about a dead girl called Stacy's death begins to come to light. Triple Dog is an entertaining, enjoyable watch. That concludes Season 4, Episode 5 of my podcast, where I have reviewed the films I watched and enjoyed during February 2026. Have a fabulous week, everyone. Until next time, take care. Bye.